traumatizing.
It is traumatizing because when Tonio's laughing already, but when Tonio refers to a monster, he's talking about something totally different. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and point that out right now.
I believe you're thinking of
It's
Anaconda.
probably just as scary as that guy.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
People the same way.
Yes. So like, I wouldn't
You in
say.
there, boy? All right, my bad.
No, you're good.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the baddest podcast in the land, Steak and Sauce Podcast. And if you don't know, you should, because
Your baby mama does.
she sure as damn does. I'm telling you, she's watching. She hasn't subscribed because she don't want to leave a trail. Okay? That's just my opinion. I'm just saying. You already know who I am. I'm the Sauce King, the Wing King. Get your baby mama a 10-piece. They call me King Koopa. They call me Mr. Raise That Flag. I ain't gonna say the rest.
What, Mr. Meat to Me?
All right. Mr. Meat to Meat. I wasn't gonna say it, but I'll go ahead and say it. To my right, you already know who this man is. This is my ace. This is AC21. He's cold even in the summertime. He does a lot of things, not bad things.
Never bad. Never
Only
bad.
positive things for the community, right? So we got him here today. Also, across from us, we have an amazing couple here today. I've been waiting on this episode for a long time. We got Taylor.
How you doing? They call me Pencils.
Okay. And his wife, Hannah.
Nice to meet you.
Let's give it up for them. Very happy to have you guys here today. It's going to be a special episode. Before we go any further, we'd like to thank God for continuing to allow us to do this and giving us the creativity to run this show. We also want to thank Weston for everything he does. Hopefully he doesn't roll his eyes too much at me today for saying crazy stuff, but we'll see. We never know. Never know what's going to come out of my mouth. But put that burger down, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button so that you can be notified of when we drop the fire content from the baddest podcast in the land. So how's everybody been this week so far? It's been a crazy week.
It's been great.
Been great?
Yeah.
All right. Everything going good?
Yeah. Just
All
got
right.
back from North Carolina.
North Carolina, how was that?
It was pretty good. Went to lunch.
Wow. They went, hold up. Whoa.
Yeah, it was our only day to be together, so we took a day off and went to
Most people, respectfully,
lunch.
when they have time to be together, they may go to Hardee's
Yeah. Shut up.
or Sheetz and get a Slurpee.
Yeah.
They drove to North Carolina for brunch.
Yeah. We wanted dinner.
Okay, now we talk about tax brackets.
Oh my God.
Hang on.
Hey, I know this tax bracket.
We talk about tax brackets and budgets, okay? I'm getting tomatoes thrown at me every night so I can pay Weston. And you're going to Charlotte to eat brunch?
Greensboro, but yeah, we went down
Hey,
there.
that's my hometown.
Oh, is it for real?
Greensboro.
Okay.
Yeah. It's nice down there too.
Was
Yeah,
it
is
at least
Greensboro
good?
Yeah, it was great.
It better be for that
Yeah.
drive. I mean,
Yeah, it was.
Where did y'all eat at?
Catered, the Art of Tacos.
Ooh,
Yeah, downtown somewhere.
sounds good.
Oh yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
ask if you knew what street it was on.
Yeah, it was downtown.
Drive a good time?
Yeah, it was nice.
Heck yeah. No, all jokes aside, that's awesome. I'm glad y'all got. So that was kind of like, I'm sure it was busy during like Valentine's Day and stuff like
Yeah, it
that.
was
So
during
y'all
the
finally,
week, so we finally got time and was like, hey.
yep. Shout out to her, by the way.
Yeah,
Awesome,
man.
awesome. Yep. How's y'all's week been?
Well, to be honest with you, it's been a little bit rough.
Okay.
We recently lost one of the captains at the jail that I work at.
good friend of ours.
Sorry to hear
He's
that.
a
Sorry to
really
hear
great
that.
guy.
Thank you. Yeah, he was a captain on my team, and at the jail we were divided into 4 different teams, and I'm on B team, and that's what O.C. Miller was on.
Okay. I did see that post. Very sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
We drove 3
prayers to-
hours yesterday
Thank you.
to go to his funeral, and this might be the weirdest thing I ever say. That was the funnest funeral I've ever been to.
Dude, it
Because
really
it
was.
wasn't. He didn't believe in like everybody being sad.
Sad if you want to
and
go
he
out
didn't
on
have
top,
like a
Right.
he didn't have like a preacher up there talking for an hour. They literally got everybody drunk and handed the microphone off to everybody and just told good stories about
Yeah,
him.
celebrate his life.
It was
Celebrate his
awesome.
life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. You know, I would rather have something like that because I feel like people mourn in different stages.
They do.
And while we're there, why don't we talk about the way that this person impacted us in a positive way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, they made us smile every time he came around. The best laughs, you know, all the good things, you know what I'm saying? So that that homecoming was, you know, a little bit different. I like that. I haven't been somewhere like that, but that is a different spin for sure.
It definitely was.
We liked it.
It was. I've never done that before, but weird to say now. That's how I want my funeral to be.
Yes.
Exactly like that.
Yes.
It was
happy.
awesome.
And it's weird to say I liked a funeral. Like, I mean, funerals are typically a sad occasion, but while we all had our fair share of tears, it really was a celebration of his life. And I'm really glad that me and Taylor were able to go because we even spoke at his funeral, talking about how OC impacted us. But Chris Connor really he was the first person to speak at the funeral, and
that was like his best friend. Like they were like this together.
He set the tone for when everyone talked on there. Now I'm just gonna be honest with you, like half of because OC was black, and half of the people at the funeral were black, and half were white. And Chris Connor opens up to talk about OC, and it's a funny story, but he says the N-word, and all of us like white people,
we understand the context because he was like, apparently they were going to the guy was a Raiders fan, which I gave him some shit about because I remember when I was 5, but apparently they were driving to go to a Raiders game. I can't remember where it was, and apparently he looked over to OC and was like, they were driving through a cotton field. Weirdly enough, I looked at him and said, "We're getting pulled over. You're in trouble."
Right.
And apparently he looked back at him and said the
Laid it on him?
Yeah, but everybody in that room that was white literally went.
You could hear it.
Yeah.
Like sizz, like the cringe.
I did it too. I was
ripple
like,
through
me,
y'all.
I was like, I feel like as a white
This
person,
funeral
like,
will get in real quick.
I just feel like as a white person, me personally, like I don't have any right to say that word. I mean, but you know, that's just me. The context of it was funny, but yeah, that's the funniest part about it. All the white people were like, but all black people were just.
I got scared.
I know you were like, I bet y'all were looking like across the aisle, like waiting for it to jump off.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like who's going to get this started? You know what I'm saying?
3 nurses that I knew, and they were all white. And I looked at them, and we all had the same expression.
You know, like,
and then when everybody started like, yeah, and I was like, okay, so
we're good to go.
We're cool.
You know, and I agree with you 100%. We didn't really write out rules for the show, but when we were developing the show, we all sat down together and we said there were a few things we were not going to do on the show. Amongst all the other crazy stuff that comes out of my mouth, you will never look at an episode and hear us say that word or do anything, because I feel like we have so many more intelligent topics to talk about, and that's what we want to project, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I completely understand how y'all felt in y'all's position, and I know that you had that face like that, like,
oh God,
waiting for it.
I wouldn't have said that.
Right.
But it really did set the mood though, and you know, everyone had a sense of humor about it after the initial, like, oh my God, did we just disrespect people? Like, I mean, we didn't say it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then after that, like, everyone basically just got the courage to go up there and talk about their own personal stories, no matter like what it was about.
Right.
Like mine involved like the F word. I didn't get up there and say it, but everyone just relaxed a little bit after that, and then we could openly and honestly talk about our experiences with OC.
Wow.
And it was very powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to remember him.
Well, I'm blessings and prayers to you guys and his family, and I'm glad that y'all have happy memories about him and how he affected, you know, because people like that, they're few and far between, you know. So when you do have somebody like that, you want to hold on to them forever. So I understand. Man, that's tough. Sorry.
Sorry to be so dark.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'm glad thank y'all for sharing that. This episode today, I've been waiting to do this for a long time.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that our schedules finally synced up.
I know.
And you guys, if I had 2 days, I'd pick y'all's brains on everything that I've been worried about. Everything I've been worried about. Yeah, everything I've been worried about. Everything that bothers me and scares me, you know. Can this person really get to me? Everything. But before we do that, during the week, we get bogged down. Life happens. And what I like to do is I like to turn to videos, and I find short clips of things that make me laugh throughout the week. What we do, we go ahead and pull them up on the big screen. We'll get your guys' initial reaction, and y'all tell me what y'all think. He's so much cooler than me, I promise.
That's a cool kid.
That is,
I want a truck like that.
Hey, Hey, it reminds me of Max. Look how he pulled off though.
He was all serious.
This kid has been here before. He did.
Yeah.
And he looked over his shoulder like he's merging onto the highway or something. I'm telling y'all, this kid has been here before.
That's a grown man right there.
Yeah, it's definitely a grown man. What's that comment say right there, Taylor? Brother, what's that say?
Hold on.
Take that battery out of
that and rewire it and install a Makita battery 40V X2, and that'll go 20 times faster.
That's the last thing that kid needs is a more powerful battery.
I know.
The way he's driving.
I just love how serious he looks.
And this nostalgia.
Look at that side.
Look at him. Look, he did spin. He did spin. The nostalgia of this, when I was growing up, not to show my age, but Gravedigger was that monster truck when I was coming. Right?
Dude, he's still the shit.
Is he?
He is.
Max has been to Roanoke to see him.
Okay, I didn't know that. But when we were growing up, Gravedigger was that dude. I know they've had several installments of that actual vehicle. Maybe they've changed it a little bit. But when we would go to the monster truck show, Gravedigger is who we wanted to see for sure.
Yeah, of course.
And the Hulk.
Yeah.
The Hulk truck for sure, yeah. Can we run the next one, Weston?
You know that kid's like the coolest kid in the first grade.
Oh, God, I seen this.
Or baseball.
Kind of what we were talking about.
Baseball over Black History Month?
Baseball.
I just turned it.
Why are you choosing that? What about black people?
Because I don't like black people.
Learned behavior.
Yep.
Learned behavior.
You see his parents behind him?
He's proud.
Yeah.
I'd be embarrassed as hell.
God told me to
Not
say
my
that.
fault. It's not my fault. God told me to. Look at him.
Learned.
Look at his dad. Look.
He
That's
looks
his
all
uncle.
proud.
That's somebody in the back.
What about black people?
Look at that grin.
Yeah, he has no fear. Look at. I mean, kids are honest. You know.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't blame these
Because I
kids,
don't like
though.
black
I
people.
blame their parents.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's learned behavior.
Damn, bro, it's Black History Month, bro.
It's
It's
like
not my fault. God told me to say that.
Oh, my God.
Black History Month.
Look at Weston.
Or baseball.
That's hilarious. I'm sorry.
That's
I had to
messed
throw that one in
up.
there. I was like, goodness gracious. We'll run the next one. Now.
Who told you to look at me like that?
Yeah. I'm telling you. He did. I'm telling you right now. We're going to talk about
take a picture.
Jeepers Creepers and stuff today. Hey, it hurt so bad that he had to think about what happened to him.
Poor guy.
And there's a name for these guys wherever they're at.
They look like the sand people from Star Wars.
And they terrify people. Look.
That spin on that phone.
That one that hit his back. That one that hit his back changed his life. I promise you.
Look at his face.
Look, he's getting his phone out to record him.
They said no. He left his motorcycle in there.
Poor guy.
Oh my God, I gotta watch this again. Watch how high his phone bounces.
I know, in the
Watch.
spins. You know what, y'all? We're laughing our ass off, but if it was us as that guy,
I'd have
we
shot
wouldn't
him.
be
I'd
laughing.
have shot him. I'd have shot them both. Do they just go around doing this?
I don't know, but it was funny.
Where is this at?
You know how bad that probably hurt?
He ran for shelter.
Where was this taken at? Do y'all know?
I think it's in Steak and Sauce family. I think it's in Africa. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing.
That poor guy.
Look, he hit. That's a grown man hiding for his life.
I know. Did you see how big that thing is?
Yeah.
Like,
are they on
Are
stilts?
they holding hands before they go up there like that?
Right.
No.
They're
literally
They both did it.
If you want, when they're walking up, they're both like, "Oh yeah."
Are they?
You see this guy?
I
over
didn't
here?
see that. I didn't see.
Look, they're holding
Yeah, they
hands.
are.
They are.
No,
Look.
I think it's just their thing.
Oh, okay.
It's just hands.
Okay.
Hands.
Why did they do that?
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
All right.
I don't blame him for being
Yeah,
scared.
we'll run the last one.
Fishing guys 14 seconds into the.
He said, "Oh,
I've seen so many memes about this guy.
oh my
So
God!"
became a new
many.
creature.
This one had me so weak.
Okay, I gotta say,
Yes.
this is perfect because I'm currently reading a book called Stolen Innocence, and it's written by a girl named Elisa Wall, and she was involved in the FLDS church. Basically, sorry to offend anybody.
Latter-day Saints?
The Mormon cult with Warren Jeffs.
I
as the
became a new
prophet.
creature at that moment.
And I'm at the part where she's been talking about she was forced to marry her first cousin at 14 years old.
Holy cow.
Yes. And obviously they don't practice premarital sex, so that's kind of...
That, yeah.
But yeah, it's some very disturbing stuff.
Do you think he's?
I'm not laughing at that.
No,
I'm
no,
laughing
no.
at
Became a new
him
creature
because
at
there
that
was
moment.
another meme, this same guy, and he was eating something, and he said, "Oh God." And they had like a same type of caption. I said, "Lord, forgive me." But this is funny. I'm sorry. I had to run that, you know? Had to run that right quick. I had to.
I saw one about a week ago. It was kind of similar to that. It was that guy. I think he was doing that kind of similar face, but it was, you know, I was going to sound weird, but you know when you do reach and your back arches a little bit?
Oh,
when you
yeah,
do
yeah. It comes up.
That was him doing it.
You know what? I call that the demon juice. The demon juice is coming up out of you. And there's been plenty of nights, even at my age, that I have completely bridged on my own bed. And the only thing that was touching was the heels of my feet and the back of my neck.
Are we talking about like Scary Movie 1?
Pretty much looked like an exorcism.
Like
Okay.
that
So I
scene
call
in
it the
Scary
turtle.
Movie 1.
You ever done anything like that?
Nah.
You're a liar.
I just get the cold chill after.
Yeah, you and I, all them bad spirits is leaving you. That's what it is.
I'm not ashamed to say it's happened from time to time.
The bad spirits is leaving you. Everybody, the man with all the land is in the house. Y'all can't see him right now, but he is here. We call him Boy. We're going to bring him on in a minute, all right? I know y'all want to see him. We can't go anywhere now. I can't go get coffee, go to the grocery store without them asking me where he's at or where he's at. So obviously when people say something, I just work here.
I just work here. I ain't nobody.
These two are the, you know.
Yeah, right.
The masterminds.
Yes.
No.
So jumping right into it, you guys have had this infinite wisdom of all things horror, right?
I think we share it a little bit.
That's
Share
a
it?
high
Okay.
compliment, but yes.
All right.
She's a lot better with modern horror movies, and I'm better from movies from the past.
Like modern meaning, I watch a lot of 70s and 80s. He's good
Okay.
with classics like
30s, 40s,
30s,
and
40s,
50s.
50s,
Whoa.
60s.
I didn't even dip back into that far. Is this like, I guess it'd be like the 70s or 80s, the shower.
That's 60s.
That's 60s. Okay, okay.
That was
Gotcha.
Psycho.
Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Yeah. I was about to say
Wow,
Psycho,
okay.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So give us just a little bit of background for Steak and Sauce family, for our viewers. What do you guys do? How did you guys meet? Just brief.
Oh, I love this story.
I'll do the one how we met.
I'll get shit for the rest of my life on this story.
Weirdly enough, we met in jail.
Yes.
I know that
Not as
sounds
inmates,
weird.
though.
No,
Wah,
it's-
wah.
I know. I was a CO before I started working at the Arsenal.
Okay.
With my brother. He's a Virginia Tech police officer now.
All right.
So
Wow.
we were both working in the pedophile pod.
Ooh.
And he's like, dude, there's a hot chick getting booked in. I'm like, really? All right, well, let's go check her out.
All right.
Now, you don't know when somebody's getting booked in if they're going to be your new coworker
Yeah.
or if they're an inmate, because you always get your fingers printed and your picture taken, regardless either way.
Either way, we're going to get a chance to talk to you.
Either way, we're going to talk. And I walked around the corner and I saw her and I went, damn, what a shame.
He
She's
thought I was an
cute.
inmate.
Oh, well. About a week later, I saw her in a nurse outfit. I was like, even better.
Oh, tell us about it, Taylor.
And
What did you see?
Let's say it wasn't my face.
Oh, well, I wasn't going to say it, but gotcha.
Yes.
what can I say? They call me a bottom feeder for a reason.
I like that. We'll use that on the next stand-up. Listen, I'm not a fish, but I'm a hell of a bottom feeder, all right? We will definitely, can I steal that?
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and I hit on her all the time, like, you got some nice shoes. You got, you're beautiful. And like every time she was like,
I was going to ask,
Thanks.
how did you feel with his approach? Did he have some game
Well-
or was it a little weak?
Now I'm going to be 100% real. I've never tried to hide this. I'm always going to be honest. When I met Taylor, I was engaged to another man.
All right.
The
So-
plot
I didn't know that.
So
thickens.
he took you from another man.
I didn't.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. It's Mr. Steal Your Girl.
So his
So-
game was strong then.
It was.
All
But
right.
see, he
It
likes,
answered the question.
he likes to say that I was being a snob. And I
I
don't
didn't-
think
I
I'm a
didn't say
snobby
snob.
person.
She was trying to keep a roof over her head.
I didn't say snob.
Well-
I didn't know she was engaged at first.
Right.
So when I kind of
No,
laid on the
you
charm,
asked
hold on.
Ashley.
I kind of laid on the charm a little bit, and she was just like, because I remember exactly, because I asked you about your shoes, and she went, thanks, and like walked away. I was like,
Ooh,
But if you're engaged to somebody else,
Yeah.
you're not going to be thinking anything of that.
I respect
and-
that.
Thank-
and I did
I
find
respect
out that she was married, so I laid off.
What, married? I was engaged.
engaged, sorry. And I laid off, and just
Now,
randomly,
he don't know where we at, does he? 'Cause he might come up here.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think he knows.
I laid off, and once I laid off, and I kind of opened up to you, and I just started talking about a '80s movie called Return of the Living Dead one day. Then she started to like me, and I was like, oh, okay.
She knew that you had more files in that dossier that she needed to get to. Y'all had this common ground. Y'all didn't know about that,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
we definitely bonded over
But
more.
we definitely did. And it was specifically over that movie, and it just tumbled after that. But the first thought I ever thought about Taylor, though, even though, obviously wasn't thinking anything inappropriate at the time, I'm going to be honest. Let's be real. Sometimes we can still think that other people, may look a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy, not to cut you off.
No.
I think it's perfectly healthy for couples to talk to each other and recognize that other people are attractive, right? Because that happens.
Yeah.
The difference is some people just leave it. Some people put it down the drain when they take a shower. And other people go all the way across town.
Or out of
Not
state.
you.
Out
I'm
of
just
state.
tapping you.
All right.
And they guac, 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 right? So
Right.
obviously, hey, if this woman's attractive, hey, sweetheart, da-da-da, keep it here. When I get home later, I throw it down the drain, and you never know about it.
Yep.
We stay happy.
You're right.
bad.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I ever did think about Taylor, though, is, oh my gosh, that guy is so cute, but he is so spastic. Dang, he's cute. But I never thought anything outside of that.
Right?
And then when he brought it, hey, have you ever heard of this movie called Return of the Living Dead? I was like, you've heard of that movie? And it was just history from there.
It's history. So that pretty much X'd old homeboy out when he said that, right?
Yeah. Now,
Damn, it's tough out here.
yeah,
One damn movie.
Be honest,
one movie got his ass.
one movie.
Yeah. They just mentioned it, right?
No, like we ended up getting really close, and the more and more we kept getting closer, the more and more I started to fall in love. And then it clicked about 6 months before she was going to get married. Like, I'm not going to be able to watch. It's going to kill me.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry, and I'm not going to be able to do it. So I was just honest. That's what I believe. Just be honest. We were just driving down the road. I was like, can I be honest with you about something? She goes, yeah. And I was like, I love you.
After
I
much
can't-
hesitation.
But I can't love you because someone else already does.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, I am your friend. I want to be able to watch you get married. So in order for me to be able to do that, we got to put some distance here. Because I love you so much.
I respect that, bro.
Because I want to be there. But I can't be there right now.
That was a huge wake up call for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy is like my best friend.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine any distance without him. And then I started to really think about how I was feeling and processing everything. And I was the last one to realize it, as he usually loves to remind me. But finally, I just realized, like, I'm in love with this guy. And then that is a whole.
This is beautiful.
It's
For them.
yeah, for us.
So, hey.
It's for them. Wait.
But
There's another man over there like,
but
And
to
I
be,
wish I never met her.
but
I'm
to
sorry.
be
I'm sorry.
honest, though,
Yeah.
we did hurt our exes really bad, and we've never tried to hide it and lie
So
about
he
what
was-
happened.
you was in a relationship too?
Hold on. Yes.
All right.
But it's completely different because when I fell in love with her and we started to realize that love was true. And one night we did kiss and I felt bad about it. And originally she was going to stay with that guy.
Y'all, when I
This
say
is a whole.
It's a whole thing.
Y'all.
Bro, this is a whole thing right
I
here.
know. But
I know.
I felt bad and I went and told on myself to my girlfriend because I felt bad. And I'm like, the only way I'm going to feel better is if I be honest. And I literally went and told her what I did. And it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
She was like, no. She was like, thank God, I've been cheating on you too. This is
No way! What?
Yeah.
You know what? I
At
was just
that
like,
point, I would have ran to her because you gave her a kiss and felt bad,
Yeah.
and she's been dropping it like no way.
she didn't. We didn't go into details, but we just kind of were like, you know, I don't think we're good for each other. Have a good one.
No shot.
I
No
almost,
shot.
I almost wish
at
mine would have
myself.
gone more like that because unfortunately for me, my ex was, I still to this day don't have a bad thing to say about the guy.
I don't either. He was
He's a
a great
good
dude.
person and a good guy.
Great guy. Great guy.
I hate to be
No
the bad
shot.
person, and I literally just, well, I didn't destroy him, but I really hurt him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in situations, someone or a couple is always going to, they're going to be on the receiving end of that. When we make decisions as adults, we go to sleep that night just fine. When we're on the other end of that,
Yeah.
you will be holding your stomach, tossing, turning sick. So I've been on both
Yes.
sides. Maybe you get that sick feeling when you're a little bit younger. I remember the last time I really had that feeling, I was 19. And my buddy came to me. I was overseas in Iraq. And the girl I was dating at the time, he told me, he said, hey, look at it this way. I just saw her MySpace.
Oh, I remember MySpace.
MySpace, right? He's
Oh,
like,
I
I
loved
just
it.
saw her MySpace, and there was a Gatorade cooler in her room, or she was in a room where there was a Gatorade cooler. He's like, and football players drink Gatorade. So,
My first thought was, well, I'm a Powerade guy.
well,
Who the hell is
right,
this?
yeah. Who the hell is this, right? So he's like, Derek, respectfully, let her live her life, right? So I knew, So
Yeah.
on the other end of that situation, I was kind of sick. But I'm glad that you guys can come on here and feel comfortable enough to share that with us.
I mean,
It wasn't the way to go. We should have done that
we
better.
should
but
have done it better.
But can you imagine if both of y'all would have sat on y'all's hands, y'all would have never realized that y'all felt.
And that's, thank you for pointing that out, because that's
Yep.
what I'm saying. Like, I hate that I had to hurt an innocent person, but I just believe that everything does happen for a reason.
Yep.
And I know God brought him to me.
Wow.
I know he did. Now, again, the circumstances were like questionable. It's like, we're doing something wrong. Why does it feel right? Because
Right.
it shouldn't.
That's a whole song. If loving you is wrong.
Would be right. Yep.
Yep.
But it's been, I'm just so glad we took that step because look where we are today.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what this reminds me of? Have y'all seen Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You know the guard that was hooking up with the girl and he
I
couldn't
haven't watched it.
Handlebars.
He couldn't handlebars. Handlebars couldn't leave that girl alone, right?
Yeah.
Handlebars was going to risk it all.
Oh, wait.
He
no.
was like, I want to take care of the baby. I want to do everything.
It's the cute look, the baby looking guy,
Yes.
baby face guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Okay. Sorry.
yes. So when y'all were talking, I just imagined like y'all would like pass each other and she's like seeing the inmates, making sure they're good. And you like go around the corner and y'all meet up in like this linen closet. And it's like passionate for like 10, 15 seconds and y'all go y'all separate ways. Like it wasn't like that.
I won't be straight up.
Yeah, for
I
me, it
probably-
was. Well, I mean, when she would walk by, I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
you was
man.
you already broke that.
And then she'd walk and be like, hey, look, it's a spastic guy.
We was on two different levels, right? Yeah.
Like honestly though, and I'm just being real. I could probably get it on with you pretty much anywhere, but there's a handful of places I cannot, and at work is definitely one of them. It's too nasty in that damn building.
Okay.
There's
Well,
no
hey.
way.
Hey, I believe that though.
But
Oh,
the story that I'd like to say is I got put in the friend zone and I conquered it. I
Hey,
conquered it.
That's what I
brother,
get all
I'm
about.
telling you,
Yep.
you've done something that most men have died at. Because once you get put in the friend zone,
It's over with.
you're done. You're done. Like the fact that you came up out of that, for real. 'Cause I'm telling you, there's cats in the friend zone that are watching this right now, and you're doing everything you can, and she won't even let you smell it. You're gonna keep on pushing. I heard this the other day. We shouldn't chase anything because when you're chasing something, it implies that it's running the opposite direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as hard as that is to grasp,
It's well said.
sometimes we have to, you know what I'm saying, let that go.
You're right, because when I stopped chasing, I got it.
Bing.
And for advice for the ladies, like I have sometimes inmates will, since I'm a woman and I work there, of course, you got flirty comments all day. One of the ones that I hear all the time is, don't you like bad boys? Don't you want a bad boy? And the answer I say is, hell no, because bad boys will break your heart. So for girls out there who like the bad boys, and there's a stigma out there. Girls go after the guys that treat them like shit.
That's what they love.
You have to be willing to stop that pattern,
right?
And appreciate what you have and go for something that's good,
right?
Because if you just let it go, you may never have it again.
The bad boy's cool for a little while, but once you think about having a family, a 401k, soccer games on Saturdays, the whole situation changes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think everybody hits a certain point where they're like, you know what? I'm gonna hang my jersey up. Some people never get out of that.
That's true.
I'm on the brink right now where I'm trying to figure out, do I want to have a family or do I want to, make sure people's tuitions get paid?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean, just saying
I'm
that.
on the fence.
And
this side looks real tempting.
If you go down the kid path, you're going to be paying tuition anyway.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I got to deal with them all the time.
Yeah.
If it's her kid, I only see him when I go over there. You know what I'm saying? That's her responsibility.
That's the advantage.
Yeah. I'll be handing out melatonin like French fries.
You got to get the gummies though.
That's a joke. So we got a lot of cool stuff here. We want to get into all of that, right? Where do you guys think that your love and just the vast knowledge of all horror movies, the backstories, the cool stuff we want to get into, where did you guys want to start doing research on all of that? Was it after you watched the movie, you're like, hey, I need to know the backstory on all this stuff?
I'll let her go first on this one.
Well, my intro to horror was when I was probably, I think it was on my 5th birthday. And my first horror movies were DVDs. And I had Child's Play and Candyman.
All right. We got it right here. Can I pick this up?
Oh, yeah. That actually is a VHS copy of Child's Play. It's not my original copy, but it's signed by Alex Vincent, a.k.a. Little Andy Barkley from the Child's Play movie.
Wow.
Yes, and I got to meet him in 2018 at the Carolina Fear Fest. And
Let's go ahead and take this.
Yes, he's a really nice guy. But anyway, that kind of was my introduction to horror from my recollection. And then when I was, again, probably 5 or 6 years old, Mom took me to a movie. She goes, "Hey, there's this new scary movie out, and I think you'd really like it. Let's go see it. Let's go have a mom and daughter date." And I'm like, little 5-year-old, yeah, okay, Mom, I'm so excited. It was Jeepers Creepers.
Hell no.
Imagine being a 5-year-old little kid up in the rows in the movie theater, watching all of this on the big screen, the surround sound. I was absolutely traumatized, but I couldn't look away.
Right, yeah.
I was hooked. And for me, which maybe we'll talk a little bit later about it, Jeepers Creepers is my favorite horror film. And part of the reason why it is because when you think of the word monster, your mind just automatically will come up with an idea what you think that might be.
Right.
Somebody else had the same idea that I did and put it on a big screen.
That's crazy.
This is what I consider to be a monster. And it scared the crap out of me. Like everything about the creeper, looks, what he does, mannerisms, like just, woo, traumatizing.
It is traumatizing because when Tonio's laughing already, but when Tonio refers to a monster, he's talking about something totally different. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and point that out right now.
I believe you're thinking of
it's
Anaconda.
Probably just as scary as that guy. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
People the same way.
Yes. So like, I wouldn't say.
All right, my bad.
No, you're good. No. I didn't start to get into my nerd aspect of horror until I was probably, to be honest with you, in high school, because 2013 is when I went to my first horror con, the Mad Monster.
I'm sorry. What'd you call it?
Carolina.
No.
HorrorCon.
HorrorCon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like Comic-Con, but for horror movie fans. Yeah,
I
probably sound like
you were thinking something else.
I heard something. I was like, where in the hell is that at?
HorrorCon.
We're signing up for that bad boy.
It's at a Hooters
right now. Y'all heard about that HorrorCon?
So that was the Mad Monster Party in 2013, and I got to meet some pretty cool people in the horror community. And from then it just really snowballed as far as like getting into nerdy and geekiness as far as horror films, horror people, and the community itself.
Right. Now, I will say right quick, Tonio knows this for sure. When this movie came out, we were in like high school.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. My sister would go around the house, shout out to Morgan. The song that they play, right? And I'm not going to sing it because I know how it makes you feel. She would lean over the banister at the top of the stairs and sing it. It would crawl up my back.
That's mean as hell.
And I'm like, Mom, make her stop. Tell her to stop. He's coming. Like, he's going to come.
You
I
heard the
really
thump.
felt this guy was going to land on our roof, you know? And I will say this.
He's gonna land you in your truck tonight.
I'm telling you, if I'm driving and it goes like that, and I see this, I'm brake checking, boy. I'm telling you, I'm going to send him. So this first installment, I think that it was genius because me and Taylor talked about this before. They gave him just enough human attributes, right? And gosh, I want to get into the backstory on this, and what you guys think. They gave him just enough to make him so scary, but the way the screenplay was with the orchestra, when he would turn his head or do anything, and those strings would, that
Soundtrack
made
is-
it. What do you call that? The
soundtrack,
the foreshadowing, all that stuff was great.
ensemble, yeah.
And took me a while to figure out this license plate, but in the movie, when what's his name? Derry, he was like, be eating you.
Embryo.
Right? And I couldn't figure out why that funky ass truck was so fast.
Right.
He had a turbo on it. Maybe 2.
He was gunning it.
Right? They couldn't get away. Derry couldn't drive 5 speed. He was a punk. His sister was way tough. I'm serious. His sister was way tougher than him, right?
She was.
She was way tougher. And
She was
that's
the
why the
stronger
creeper
character.
didn't want her.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. She
He
was
didn't
the
want her.
stronger one.
Right?
And he didn't want her.
Can you take just a few seconds and tell us
Yes.
about this license plate?
Okay, so earlier I mentioned that I've been to Carolina Fear Fest in 2018. It is a horror con in Raleigh, North Carolina. But we went back to it in 2022. It was in May, and it was the year that we got married. But back in 2018, when I first went, they had one of the creeper trucks there at the con. The actual creeper truck.
Holy cow.
So obviously, I'm scared as hell, but there ain't no way I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna go see it. And I met the guy who owned it, and he was dressed head to toe as the creeper. And this
I would have died.
Let me tell you, this was an authentic
He's a big
costume.
dude too. Like, I'm 6'3". He towered over me.
I think Troy is about
He's
6'3".
He's a big guy.
But he was, and his costume wasn't one of those cheap Amazon. Like, it was like a custom made one to fit his face and everything.
Eyes like piercing and everything.
Yep, the
Oh, yeah.
teeth, like a special mouthpiece. I mean,
I probably would have shot him. I'm just gonna be honest.
he was such a nice guy.
Right, you know what I'm saying? What'd you do? You know what I'm saying?
But-
now, did you? I don't mean to interrupt you. So
No,
much
no,
stuff
it's
coming to my
okay.
head. I watched the casting when they were trying to find the creeper. The guy jumped up on the table
Jonathan
with the
Breck.
bald head
Yep.
and was sniffing, and
All
his
up in your
eyes
face.
were. I was like, that was scary enough.
Creepy.
I liked when he
as
walked
hell.
through the door. Like, the door opened. and,
Yeah.
like,
Nostrils
for a minute,
flared.
I was like, is he gonna walk through? And then he went.
Yeah, and he poked, and I was like, oh, I was watching, and it wasn't even the real movie yet. It was just a casting call, you know?
Yes.
So did y'all know that they also, I'm pretty sure, Tyrese also tried to cast for the creeper. There's some footage of it.
I did not know that.
Okay, now somebody's going to fact check me. I'm pretty sure it was Tyrese. I know I've seen this somewhere. Steak and Sauce family, y'all check into it for me. If I'm wrong, hey, it'll be all right. But I'm pretty sure it was him. And I know they went with the other guy because he just embodied, like he sold it completely.
That body language.
I mean, everything about it.
Yeah.
But the creeper, and I want to save this for just a few other things away because we can get so heavy into this
Oh,
guy,
yes.
Oh yeah.
right? We talked about horror movies with the supernatural vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told you guys that I wanted to learn more about Ed and Lorraine.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Steak and Sauce family, this encompasses the Conjuring series, right? So, these movies and the actors that portrayed these two people, this was real.
So all the films are based off of supposed true stories.
Okay.
Real cases that the Warrens had worked on. A little bit about the Warrens. They were Catholic people, and basically Lorraine was a medium and her husband Ed was a demonologist.
Whoa.
And he could, I believe he could perform exorcisms, and apparently there's a big process for you to be able to do that. And very, very few people are certified to do this.
They probably die.
If
they probably don't make it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was considered an expert on demonology, and obviously that was his specialties.
Preston's face right now is hilarious. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to get bad.
Yeah.
So they had a museum that's true from the films, you've seen it, but they did have their own museum that they kept artifacts in from their cases, and it was supposed to be a very haunted and just evil room because it had energy from each case that they worked on, and they did exercise it, I think once a month, or blessed by a priest once a month.
Really?
Yes.
Can you imagine being tasked with that job?
I just
I
want
would
to go
not
in there
want
and
it.
feel the energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Look at Preston.
This museum is, I think, now closed, but it's in Monroe, Connecticut. So I don't think that it's open to the public anymore. At last I heard, I love stuff like that, but even I, as a horror fan, like, I have a fine line between fiction or just like hearing about paranormal and actually putting yourself in paranormal.
Right.
There's a fine line. Like, for example, I don't fuck with Ouija boards. Oh, sorry if I said.
No, you're fine. We're past the threshold. We're good.
Okay, cool.
We don't mess with Ouija boards either.
No.
I think I have one.
Oh God.
Woo,
Lord.
did you say some blessings?
Yeah.
Mike Williams. Yeah.
Mike.
I think he was in high school. Yeah.
I wasn't over that night. I wasn't at that sleepover. I'm telling you that right now. I was not there. The only thing I've done that was similar to maybe some whammy bammy shit. Well, we did the light as a feather, stiff as a board, and the person actually came up with our fingertips. I screamed, ran out, never did it again. My friends used to try to lock me in the bathroom, and they would scream Bloody Mary from the other side of the door.
That's mean.
And I'd be in there literally crying, like in tears, because I really felt like something was going to come through that, through the mirror. I got traumatized as a kid, and I think, how are we looking like on time? Okay, we're great. I got traumatized as a kid because I was afraid of the dark, right?
Yeah.
I associated everything bad with the dark. At my grandparents' house, they had an old clock. The clock that I'm talking about, y'all know, the big crazy ones with the pendulum, and every hour it would ring that many dings for the hour that it was on. So I felt like there was a monster that was coming out, and he had 11 dings to get to me, right? So I'm looking, he rolled his eyes. He's not even sympathizing with my pain right now. So in my mind, I'm in the room, and it's ding, ding, and every step he's just like getting a little bit closer, right? So you can imagine a kid's imagination. I'm making up all this stuff.
Yeah.
I would leave my room, go down the hallway to my grandparents' room. Now, if my granddad intercepted me before I got to the bed, turn around, go lay down, right? And I'm like, you know who's coming? Like, come on, man.
Look at you like you was a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your gun, man. But my grandmother, if she got me, she'd pick me up, put me in the bed with her, put the blanket over me. She knew I was scared, and I'd stay there, and I felt safe, right?
Yeah.
If the monster did come upstairs, he'd get my granddad first, then my grandmother, and then it'd be me. So I figured I'd have a fighting chance, right? So the crazy thing is, and I'm not ashamed to say this, the house that I just bought is probably one of the first houses I've stayed in where I can sleep with all the lights off. Not afraid to say that.
There's no
I'm
shame.
a grown man. I'm a veteran.
There's no
I've
shame.
seen some wicked stuff.
Dude, no
but
shame.
I've always had a nightlight in every room that I've been in.
No shame.
And
man.
he's laughing because he says that I tried to get my sister, wake her up, and have her go downstairs with me when we were growing up.
You did.
So that I could get
You can
snacks
ask
and
Morgan now.
so
She'll
I
tell
could
you
get
that.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
No shame.
Steak and Sauce family, I sleep with all the lights off now. So
Well, yes. That's a huge accomplishment.
it really is. It really is.
To this day, I can't even watch Jeepers Creepers by myself at night. Like, if it's during the day, I can. But if he's gone to work and my mom's gone to work because my mom lives with us, I can't watch it at night by myself. I'll get scared.
Ain't no damn way.
I'm almost 30 years old and it still scares me by myself.
I'm glad that you can admit that on here.
I'm just being real.
We're being transparent.
I'll make y'all feel better when I tell you what I'm scared of.
Right.
So the Warrens, I also want to throw this out there because I'm sure people are wondering about it. There's been kind of like a recent rumor that some people are saying that they're frauds and that they're horrible people and all this stuff. What they're referring to, well, the fraud aspect of it, just some people just don't believe in this stuff. And they think that this is all just a plot to earn money. Fair enough that you're perfectly have a right to have your opinion. But basically the rumor that's going around is that they had an underage like mistress in their marriage that Ed Warren would have sexual relations with, and Lorraine knew about it. And like I said, the reason why it was a big deal is because supposedly this was an underage girl coming into the marriage. Oh. And I'm not downplaying that at all because I mean, anything underage, it's not right. It's fucked up. It's not right. But that's where that's coming from, in case you hear people talk about that and they're wondering.
So they're discrediting their entire existence.
It's part of that damn cancel culture.
Yeah, based upon, and I'm not saying none of that is cool.
Right.
But
me too.
We've learned that they were not only freaks, they were freaks. Okay? So they were trying to get, whatever. I saw a picture, and the reason why I want to ask you guys this, I saw a picture of an entire police force escorting Ed and Lorraine across this yard out of this house where I guess they supposedly were exercising something, and like it looked like there was flames in the windows, and it's a real picture of the real people. And I was wondering if you guys have seen this picture, know anything about it, because like it scared me, because I was like, these are the real folks, like not the people in the Conjurings, but like
not the actors,
not the actors, but the real people. We were talking about like the Annabelle doll, some of those cases. Are there any other cases you guys know about that maybe we're not familiar with?
Check out our first episode of our Weirdside Podcast.
Plug it.
Robert and Carl is the name of our first episode. We go over a case of a haunted doll named Robert in that one.
Is this the one with the little boy?
Yes.
Talk about that, please.
So you want to go ahead, honey? You haven't spoken in a minute.
Where do you want me to start at?
Robert, a little bit of background.
You're better with the background. I'll tell them when we actually saw him.
That's true. Okay. Basically, long story short, this little boy had a doll that was made to look just like him, but this doll was haunted. This doll, like, in my opinion, there's a lot of theories out there, but voodoo. This doll was made out of voodoo and given to this little boy to look just like him, comes into the household, causes mischief, and gets to the point where he starts harming people. And little Gene, just a little boy, grows up to be an adult, still attached to this doll. His wife's like, hell nah, this is crazy, you're gonna have to toss it. And he throws Robert up in the attic. It continues on and continues on until eventually he's donated to the East Martello Museum, which is where we went, and there we got to go visit Robert ourselves.
Y'all saw the real doll?
Yeah,
yes,
so we were in
did.
Orlando for Universal Studios. Because
we wanted to go to Universal.
No, we were doing Universal, but we weren't doing Halloween Horror Nights.
Were we? It was one of our trips to Florida during COVID season. We were going to go on a cruise, but it got canceled. So we just went down there for a week and just decided, hey, with the money we got, let's figure something out.
Let's go to Universal Studios. So while we were in Orlando, she was talking because she wanted to go see Robert. And Robert is in Key West, which is 6 hours.
One way.
From Orlando. And we were like,
fuck it, we're down here a week.
Let's do it. Let's go.
So we drove down.
Yeah.
Got to the museum. Did we have lunch first? I don't remember.
No, we had lunch after we got there.
Oh, okay. And we went in, and my first thought was, I've heard stories. I'm not going to judge until I've been there. I've had my own personal paranormal experiences because I worked at St. Albans. So I have seen shit, and I do believe in the paranormal.
The one right up here.
Yeah. I've worked there. So I do believe in the paranormal, but, I'm like, it's a doll. Like, I'll make that assessment when I get in there. And I asked the woman if it was real. I'm like, just be real with me. Is it real? She said, oh, yeah.
She said, yeah, he's real.
He's real. Because when she gets there, well, first, when she leaves, she tells him bye and that she'll be back in the morning. And she comes back. The first thing she does is greet Robert, tell him good morning, reads him his fan mail, talks to him for a little bit. Yes, he gets fan mail.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. And then she'll go out my day and then repeats the cycle. And Robert, I thought, would be at the end, like save the best for last. He's not at the end. He's in the middle. And you're walking down a long hallway. Speaking of which, even if you don't want to go, See Robert, that museum, 10 out of 10, amazing.
It's really cool.
It's in an old war fort, and it's really cool. And you're walking down this hallway, and you can see Robert.
Down in the middle of the hallway.
And you get in the room, and I can't describe what it was like to be in that room.
When you said earlier about, like, if, for example, if you were to go into, like, the Warrens Museum and, like, just feeling
like
the
that.
energy, when I tell you that we both would just gut, like, powerful, like, feelings of
evil.
supernatural forces. Like, it was strong.
So there's notes all over the walls. These are those letters I was telling you about. These are apology letters from people that disrespected him. If you go in and you take some people, obviously they don't believe in it, so they go in and they disrespect him. You're not real. They say shit to him. Take his picture. That's the big one. Don't take his picture.
Don't upset
and
Ron.
and people do it anyway, and bad things happen to him. And even if you don't believe in the notes, there was one that did get me, and it was a newspaper clipping up on the wall that they have. And it was a dude that went in there and disrespected Robert and got on his motorcycle and pulled out of the parking lot and got hit by a tractor trailer.
Oh, God.
Like, I wouldn't.
The president said,
like, straight up.
Oh, dog.
When I went in there, I talked to Robert like he was a long friend.
We both did.
I was so respectful to him. I was like, thank you for letting me come
I
in
want
here.
no problems
Let
with
me
your
do all
dog.
this for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much. I like your lion dog that you
We
got
just wanted
going
to
on
come
because he's
see
got like a
you.
little dog that he's holding. And when I say doll, he's not a doll. He's like he was modeled after like a
5 to 6 year old little
6-year-old boy. He's
That's
the
what I'm gonna
size.
say. How big is he?
He's the size of a
I've
5 to 6-year-old boy.
I've got stats on him and his build in a book that I have, and I can't remember, but
He's big.
he's pretty big.
Damn.
He's
Like,
big.
he probably would come up to your waist almost.
He's pretty big. And just the feeling of being in his presence
It was so powerful.
was enough. And we
was
said a
enough.
prayer.
Do they have
before
him in
we
like a
went
case or
Yeah,
anything?
he's in a
did,
case.
yes.
Apparently he moves in the case.
And
I was going to have y'all talk about that. The caretaker or the lady.
She says he moves.
as she does. I mean, we ourselves didn't see him move at all. And there was a part of me that was hoping it would happen, but it did not happen. And I wasn't going to push it any further. But like she said, just to have that feeling itself, I knew Robert was legit.
I'm telling you right now, if I was in there and I seen him turn his head,
I would burn that place down to the
You
ground.
need to look up a picture of him.
Yeah,
and
look
really
up a picture
get
of him. He's creepy as hell. Looking.
Preston, can you do us a favor? While
No
we're
offense.
talking, can we? No, we're not bringing. We're not.
No disrespect to Robert.
We're not gonna Kalima like Indiana Jones. We ain't gonna do none of that. We ain't doing none of that. No, we're not doing none of that. But I just wanted to give us a reference point, and for our steak and sauce family, you know.
Other big thing,
No
that
way.
night I had nightmares about him, and we were in the hotel room. I woke up in like a cold. Yeah, that's him right there.
Holy cow!
That's Robert.
There's the notes I was telling you about in the back behind him.
Yep.
What
Oh,
do
by
you
the
think
way,
about
those
that?
B budget films, don't
Yeah,
waste your
just-
time watching
those-
this.
Those are crap.
You know how I feel about
Robert?
Robert the dog.
I'm sorry.
Guys,
sorry too.
I'm
I woke
speaking
up-
on both
I
of
woke
our
up in a
behalves.
cold sweat that night, like
Yeah.
a really cold like sweat. Like I had a nightmare that he was coming for me. And I woke up and I was sweating. I looked over at her and I was like, "That shit's real."
it's real.
So you want to feel this presence that
Yeah, I
they're
want to
talking.
feel it.
Now, if you
Dude,
feel,
you know I won't believe it
I
unless
know-
he's talking to me.
Hey,
Antonio
that-
ain't
you're
gonna
right.
believe it
You're
unless Robert lifts him in the air
Yeah,
and
if he
contorts
talk.
his body like a pretzel. Antonio's like, that's the only way that Antonio's gonna believe
So
that this stuff
if
is
he
real.
lifted me up and was like twisting me, you'd be
And
like,
like turn
"Yep,
his neck.
that shit's real."
Yeah.
That's the only way.
You know what he would do? He would take 3 steps, jump out of the nearest window. I don't care if y'all's on the 3rd floor, 2nd floor. I know him.
Yeah, I'm out.
He's taking
You want
out
to feel
the window.
it? Go in St. Albans for an hour. I'd put money on it. You will. You will.
right.
I didn't believe in it.
We're gonna have to
I
do
didn't
it. We're
believe
gonna
in
have to
it.
do that.
Can we do a steak and sauce special where we like ghost hunt with y'all?
Oh my
Sure.
gosh, yes.
I mean,
would
I
love
would-
that.
That'd be pretty
That
sweet.
would
That'd
be
be pretty sweet.
nuts.
I worked in the haunted house there, and I was skeptical about the paranormal when I went in there. And after an hour, I believed in it. 100%,
I got some friends.
no questions.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No.
I got some friends in West Virginia that ghost hunt. Shout out to them. These fools went into an old like a butchery. Is that what you call it?
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
God.
Slaughterhouse?
A slaughterhouse.
They saw this huge exposed beam that was a part of the original infrastructure of this building. It's like a 600-pound beam They got up under it, linked hands with each other, and they said, if you are here, let us know you are here. And I said, did nobody notice this beam was right above y'all and he could have just dropped it flat on y'all? So I make a joke about that all the time. Dude. Like, let's get up under the beam and say, if you're here.
Hell no.
I'm just saying.
I got a video of me doing that at St. Albans. Not a beam.
Right.
When I was working, obviously it was a sane asylum. The doors are heavy, whether they're metal or wood. It doesn't matter. Those are some heavy doors. And when I was standing there, one of the doors that was beside me opened. And I'm like, all right,
boy,
who's fucking with me? Who is it? And I like went out and looked, nobody there. So I was like, yeah, fuck, whatever. So I go up my phone. I was like, is there any spirits in here? Please shut the door. As soon as I fucking said it, whoosh.
I've seen the video.
I got the video. And it's closest and I went.
It's scary.
I'm going to tell you right now.
It's freaky.
Y'all know in the cartoons when something scares somebody and their legs are just going, but they ain't even gone nowhere yet? I'm telling you right now.
Hell yeah.
Steak and Sauce family, I'd make new doors in there.
Yup.
My theory is these monsters that want to scare us or whatever's going on, who has yelled at them? Right? Mm-hmm. They want to come out. I'd do it right back. What now? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What scares these monsters? Is the nun scared of like the dude from the demon from Insidious? And is the demon from Insidious scared of the dude from what's that movie where they were hanging all the family in the tree in the back? Sinister. Yeah, like who's more powerful in this like demonic world, you know? So
yes, and that's a good question. Personally, it just all boils down to your audience and what your preferences are. By the way, I remember when we met a little while ago and I told you the Curse of La Llorona was not included in the Conjuring universe?
Yes.
I was incorrect. It is included in the Conjuring universe, yes.
All right, so Steak and Sauce family, have y'all seen that movie? I didn't want to watch it because I'm going to tell you why. I personally feel that any horror movie that has a woman, it's not a sexist comment, but I feel like women are twice as scary when they're demonic.
They're spiteful.
You know what I'm saying? Men are already battered when they go home from work. So you can imagine if she had fangs and levitates across the floor.
Yeah.
You got a problem.
Dude, same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't watch the Rona or whatever. Yeah. I didn't watch it. But I'll take y'all's word for it. So it is part of the Conjuring.
It is.
Okay. And
I believe it's a Hispanic legend. But I have here, I wrote down all the movies in order, but I wrote down the IMDb ratings too. And according to IMDb, the highest ranking one in the Conjuring universe is The Conjuring 2013, the original.
I saw that one.
That I did too. I like that one. And the least ranked one is Curse of La Llorona. So The Conjuring has a 7.5 and La Llorona has a score of 5.2. But that's the low. That's the lowest.
I mean,
and that's an average IMDb rating, so it's really not even bad.
Right.
Personally, La Llorona was not one of my favorites. But I think out of all the movies, I really did not like The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. Like, it wasn't a bad movie, but I just didn't really get on board with the story on it. I was kind of like, it's kind of like a cult movie, but Conjuring's supposed to be paranormal, and you kind of throwing in a paranormal and a cult intertwined, and I'm just like, I'm just not feeling it.
Not feeling it?
Not feeling it.
And you guys would know, because y'all know if they're trying to, save on the budget, not tell the full story, like you guys would be like, look, I spot a fake, right? So I trust y'all's opinion on that for sure. Real quick, though, before we get any further, I'm going to go ahead and step off for a second.
All right.
We're going to let Boy come on here, and he's going to talk to y'all a little bit. So we'll be right back with y'all.
Welcome.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, you are. Please take over.
Boy. I got one thing that I wanted to ask you about the St. Albans. So when I was a kid, we were in like 7th grade. We went on they had that zombie event there. Mm-hmm. And you got like free range the whole time. Mm-hmm. You could go anywhere you wanted in there, and you had to find like the gun.
Yeah.
And you got to go to all the checkpoints, all your survival, the food, water, all that. And I remember when we were in there, it was so scary when we got down to like the bowling alley. and in the little rooms there was like a wheelchair. That stuff was really,
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Did you feel something?
yeah, for sure. Because you go outside and you're walking around.
It
and
takes
then-
over there like y'all
I'm
crazy.
telling you.
You might feel something, but like I said, I'm
Dude,
not gonna believe in somebody
I-
until somebody has a conversation like we are
Yeah.
right now.
What?
It's fine.
What do you mean? What? Yes.
I thought it had to be thrown up in the air and twisted for you to
Yeah, that
believe it.
too. That would work. That would work too. But I'd rather just
She
talk.
might twist me, but not in that way.
Maybe later.
Hey, yo.
That feeling when you mentioned the bowling alley, I remember when I started working there, they had pictures of specific ghosts, the ones that they would see a lot, and one of them lives in the bowling alley, and it
Yeah,
stuck
right,
with
yeah.
me. And his name is Goat Man. And he's exactly what you think he is. He's half man, half goat, and for some reason he likes the bowling alley. Now, if I was going to haunt something, I agree with him. I'd do the bowling alley too. That sounds pretty fun. But I know he's down there. They also have a picture of a nurse that worked there early.
Wasn't me.
Well, it wasn't her. I think her name was Nancy. They have a picture of her, and she's just standing in one of the hallways looking at you. And they hold up a picture of what she looked like when she was alive, and it was exact match.
So it's not just like insane spirits, the
No,
insane people
there's
that were
so
there.
many different spirits.
Like
there.
the normal people that work there 9 to 5 are also.
There's also spirits from when it was a boys' home in I want to
Yeah.
say 20 or 30. They have a room for, I think his name was Little Jimmy. I don't really remember. He fell down the grand staircase when he was very little, which is where I worked, which made me feel so much better.
Is that the big one, like in the middle
Very big one.
area?
That's where I
yeah,
worked.
like the main floor.
Supposedly, I've never seen it, but they have seen toys move in there. And the one thing that definitely stuck with me the most is if you're upstairs, I don't remember exactly where it is, but there's a metal door that they have bolted shut. Whatever's behind that door, they call Red Eyes. Now, there's no photos of Red Eyes. There's only stories. I only heard this story. I did see the door when I was there, and it is truly bolted shut, and you're not getting in there. And whatever
Tony's
is
like,
in
I'm gonna
there,
get in.
whatever
Nah.
is in there, supposedly likes to throw people.
Oh Lord.
Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But supposedly he throws people, and I'm not going to find out.
So why
Yeah.
do spirits stay in that certain area?
Maybe because so many bad things
Well,
have happened there. That was my thought.
That's one theory. I want to throw this out there too. If you're a Christian, and I know that sometimes, in my opinion, things in the Bible and in the Christianity religion are not so cut and dry. I think there's a lot of gray area. But supposedly, according to the word, paranormal things don't exist. If you see ghosts and stuff like that, they're all considered demons, according to the Bible, or what the word says. But again, I mean, that's just one theory or one perspective to look at. Like Taylor said, some people you can't really have a debate about it with, because they're like, oh no, it says this, so I mean, clearly you're wrong. But we don't really like to try to be those kinds of people. We try to have an open mind on everything. But another thing, like sometimes there's been like you said, something bad might happen, and the person who died has not healed from it or sought justice and not moved on. Like, for example, if you take the theory with Christianity, which I myself am a Christian, but that all spirits are demons, because if you're dead and you're saved, you're going to heaven. You're an angel. You're not going to be here. So if there's spirits here, it's demonic. But let's look at Gina Renee Hall, for example. That was a case that happened in the 80s where she went out with a man named Stephen Epperly. And even though there was no evidence and never found her body, he killed her. Well, I read it's more like a memoir that her sister wrote. And she described like what happened, like as far as like the night of the murder when her sister went missing, and just all the years that she spent looking for any sign of her sister, like anything at all. And she had a lot of spiritual signs, like not physical evidence, but just like her presence connected in nature and things like that. From a Christianity standpoint, like I don't think that was something demonic. But some people might say, oh, well, that's not the sister. That's the devil.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to bash on that by any means. Like I said, again, I'm a Christian, but I don't know. It's just kind of gray area for me.
I like to think of it as like, have you seen the movie Ghost with Patrick
Oh,
Swayze?
who hasn't?
That scene with the clay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Inner
Was
thoughts.
he a demon?
But
No.
You notice when he died in that, the gates of heaven opened up for him,
Right.
but he wasn't finished. did what he needed to do,
and then he
went to
on.
heaven. I like to think of it as like,
So that's kind of how I feel about it too.
maybe they haven't moved on.
And maybe there's other reasons that we don't know about, but I think those are the likeliest reasons.
I'll leave you with one more story about St. Albans, and this one always stuck with me. I quit because I started getting scratch marks on my legs, and it really
I've heard that from
fucked
people.
with
Yeah,
me mentally.
yeah.
Working there because I've had enough. But my brother continued. And my brother's, like I said, he's a Virginia Tech Police Department, and you haven't met him, but Hannah knows. He's very logical.
Very.
Gotcha, yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I love Bubs, but yeah.
I love it. Love you, buddy.
Yeah.
One night I was with some friends. He worked, and he called me. He said, "Where you at?" And I was like, "Well, I'm here." And he pulled up, and my brother literally collapsed into my arms and bawled like a baby from whatever he saw. And I was like, that really stuck with me because like he never did that. Like even when family members would die, he wouldn't cry. Like this man never cries.
Well, like if he does, it's usually behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Like I myself, I don't think I've ever seen
And he
Evan cry.
bawled in my arms. And I was like, what happened? So there's a room there. It's called the Dragon Room. It's in the basement. And the reason they call it the Dragon Room is because there's a painted dragon on the wall. But I noticed below that is one of the high-ranking demons' name. I'm not going to say it because I'm not conjuring anger because you're not supposed to say their names. But there is is it Beelzebub?
That's another name for the devil.
That's it.
Don't.
It's in the wall, like, and they've tried painting over and it doesn't go away.
The dragon?
No, the name.
Oh, the name.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm not messing with that name. So that room's messed up. So to get into this room, you come down these stairs. There's like a little room right here that has nothing in it. It's just an empty room. And then they worked in this room. They had like a zombie theme in that room. Well, apparently they were working there one night, and there was a guy, I think his name was Zach, was working, and he just disappeared. And my brother, of course, is very logical. Where are you? We have a job to fucking do. Get your ass out here.
That's typical.
So my brother, being the responsible one, goes and looks for him and just happens to go in that room and finds him sitting in the floor of that room. Just fucking. And he's like, "You all right?" And he goes, and he apparently wouldn't answer him. And it started fucking with whatever was down there, was fucking with everybody in that room. Made one girl named Megan start acting weird. Made another guy cry. And he couldn't figure out what was wrong with that guy. And my brother came back in the room after trying to figure out what was going on with everybody else and asked Zach, "Are you okay?" And apparently, from what he says, Zach looked back at him in the darkness because there's no light in that room. Yeah. Looked back at him, and apparently, you ever seen a cat in the dark when it looks at you in those eyes?
Yeah.
He said his eyes look like that.
Damn.
And I was like, no way. He goes, yeah. So my brother took him to the priest that works there, that works there 24/7. And that guy apparently went down to that room and apparently took 2 steps in and went, nope. Closed it off and said, "Don't go back in there." Blessed the room, and my brother said, "I'm done. I'm not going back."
And like, if you knew his brother, you would know like how big of a deal that is.
Because he was like, Taylor, his eyes, they glowed. It's not normal. I was like,
I guess giving me goosebumps you talking about that
I was
again. It's
well,
scary shit.
That's something.
I'm gonna have to talk to whoever let me go do that event when I was 12 years old. I don't know who let me just run around that building.
Dude, I've been in the parking lot, not working there anymore, just going to the haunted house because we love haunted houses. I've seen shit like be in like not in the building, but like in like the grass, like the bushy area kind of near. I've seen things like just look back at me like I thought it was a dude, and he just got up and walked. What? Back in. And I was
we always went to the haunted house.
But it wasn't an actor. I thought it was an actor.
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody fucking with me because I was taking somebody and he got up and like walked through the wall back in. And I was like, okay.
And it's amazing. Like, because you go to the haunted house and you work there, you know, it's like they confine you to like they got a whole path.
And they don't want you talking about it.
Yeah,
like, to new people, I'm like, no, you need to talk about it. Like, you have to be okay.
But when we went on that like zombie thing, like you got, and I'm being serious, like we could go anywhere. Like we went down to the bowling alley, went to the bird cage, right?
Did you go to the morgue?
They don't want new employees to know about it?
They didn't want me talking about it.
Do you remember when you went in, like, was the first time I ever went to St. Albans?
I'm not bashing them. They're awesome. I love their haunted house.
What the fuck did they sign up for?
Like they would tell you.
I'm just going to show up to a job and you ain't going to tell me the information?
Well, if you go there, like, as a guest to the haunted house, they would tell you, like, our actors are not allowed to touch you. So if you feel someone touch you, it's not the actors.
The boiler room is really bad for women.
I went
apparently.
there. I've been through there.
If you're a woman, you're not allowed to be in there by yourself because whatever's in there likes to touch women. So I've never been touched or anything like that.
Yeah,
That's Derek. It's Derek sitting down there at night.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like I remember talking to them about it because I wanted to give them a reason why I wasn't coming back, and I was like, "Yeah, this is what happened." I kept trying to talk to them about it, and they're like, "We're just not going to talk about it." I'm like,
Dang.
Have
we
you
have to
noticed
talk
that's a
about this.
trend? Anything that people can't explain or they don't have an answer for, we don't talk about it. We pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mentioned the morgue. Did you get it? That was the worst feeling I had was in the morgue.
What did it look like in there? It was a long time ago.
It was like a big metal blue door from what I remember, and I just remember like the worst feeling I had was in there because they had a whole bunch of props in there, and I was in there by myself, and I don't get scared easily anymore, and it was so unsettling sitting in that room.
Now, so you know, like how people talk about like, you know, bringing a spirit with them. Like if you go in a place that's haunted, that spirit can come home with you.
Yeah, they have a saying that they taught us.
That's why I say blessings
before we left. I can't remember the exact thing, but it was like you had to say it out loud before you left. I remember doing it, and it was like, if there are any spirits following me, you're not allowed to follow me. Jesus Christ is my Savior. Do not follow me. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember saying it every time I left. I still say it to this day.
Yeah, we still say something important after we leave.
I don't mess with that place.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's a lot of people who don't believe in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine. But
I respect that. But if you don't, go for an hour. I'd put money. I would put all my horror collection on that you'll believe it in an hour.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just like if you have your mind already made up about something, like you can't be in tune to like other kind of senses and pick up on stuff. I don't know if that's what it is or if they just simply don't have experiences with it. But we try to have open minds about things. And I'd say like every haunted place that we have been to, we have had some kind of feeling. We just know that it's for real.
That's crazy. That is. So like I know we keep going back to St. Albans, but that's the only thing I'm familiar with, like with this stuff. But like when you'd get like scratches, were you by yourself?
Yeah.
So it's mostly like when you're by yourself and
you can
like,
feel it scratching you, or did
you feel it
notice it when you got home?
So like my room where I worked, I was like deaf, and like they had made like kind of like figurines and statues the same height as me and stuff. So when people would walk through, they didn't know which one was really me, and I would scare them like, bleh. There was a room behind me, and there was nothing in that room. Like it was just tarped off with like trash bags. And I remember like standing there because I had to stand still, and I was kind of near the middle, so I had to wait a decent time for people to get to me. And I would be standing still, and I just kept hearing somebody in that room. And a few times I'd like look in there, I'm like, who the fuck is in there?
Yeah.
And I started feeling these weird feelings like burning on my legs. And then I noticed when we were leaving, and I looked, and there was like these huge scratch marks going up it. And I took a picture of it, and I still have them. I showed my brother, and it just bothered me.
Yeah,
I don't know why they targeted me.
Yeah.
They just did.
That's so crazy. That is just something.
Yeah, even I have never had paranormal experiences like that. Like I myself have never even seen a ghost. I have felt a ghost and heard a ghost, but I have never seen a ghost. And just when I hear about your experiences, especially at somewhere that's notorious for being haunted, it's just gives me goosebumps.
So do y'all like? Have you? I know you said you've like tried to talk to a spirit before. Like, have you ever gotten like besides like a door shut? Have you ever heard like a voice try to say something like they show in
I've
the
heard
TV
voices
shows?
in there, but the only time I ever tried to communicate was that one time with the door, and I wasn't even really being serious. I was just like, eh. And then it really happened, and I was like, ew. And one other thing, I was standing in the line one time, and I had this on my phone too, if y'all want to see it before we leave. And I just remember looking up at one of the windows, and I was like, I swear, I kept saying somebody's staring at me outside that window. And I thought it was an actor. And I like, just for shits and giggles, took a picture of the window. Didn't think much about it. A few days go by, I was going through my camera roll, and I had that picture. There's a dude staring at me in that
You have that
picture.
on your phone?
Yeah, I have it. And there's like a dude like looking back at me, and he's like kind of transparent. I was like,
Was it in that room they closed off?
no,
Oh.
I have. I think I showed it to you. I can see his mustache and everything, like just looking back at me.
No,
creepy
that
stuff.
is.
Oh, and I mentioned earlier Gina Renee Hall. There was a theory that some of her remains or her body was buried at St. Albans.
At St. Albans, because I know they got like the whole Deadman Center thing,
Yeah, they had that theory.
and I seen on the newest like documentary about it that they had like someone what is it, people that could see in the future,
mediums and stuff.
a medium or whatever psychic, yeah. They actually dug up a spot and they took a satellite image and they seen heat like in this one spot and they dug it up. He said that's where she was. They dug it up and she wasn't there. But
She was or she wasn't?
she wasn't there, but this dude came to him out of nowhere and he was like, you have to go here and look at this spot. The detective went to the the dean of RU, used some equipment that took like an image from the sky and there was heat in that spot. Exact spot. So yeah, had some heat on it. But no, apparently she wasn't there. So
That place is not. After talking about all this, I hope they don't think I'm bashing them. Dude, I love that place, and it's weird to say that after all these experiences that I had.
that's one of my favorite places to
I love
go.
it there. I love their haunted house. I love everything that they do. I think they really need to keep it going because that place is so historically significant.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
I agree with that.
would.
It's the best one in this area to go to, in my opinion.
Well,
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
Which one do you like?
Right?
Well, I think it depends on the year.
What's
actually.
the one in Whitfield?
Helheim.
Helheim. I worked at that one
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I
been
worked
to
at
that
that one.
one.
I worked
We-
at that one too.
we
You might
had-
have went there when I was there.
Probably.
The owner of Helheim.
2011, 12.
Oh no.
The owner of Helheim, we actually work with him
Wait, with
at the
do you
jail.
mean Graham's Haunted Mansion?
I don't know.
Graham's
Graham's
is not as good as it
alright.
used to be.
They
Yes,
used to be good.
Didn't they make it
went
smaller
down.
because a
They went
room was like
downhill.
falling, like the floor was falling in the second story
I'm
or
not
something?
sure.
I think I heard something like that, but
Yeah.
it's been so long since I've been.
And you go outside, and it's just
Yeah,
like there's
it's not-
nothing scary about the yard.
No,
man.
it's the
like
house.
The house is what's
We like the gallows.
The gallows,
We
I would
like-
say,
Gallows
is
is fun,
probably
yeah,
the
with the-
best.
We had
with
a
the
weird
corn-
experience there. Like we
Oh,
yeah.
shit, yeah.
This is when we were friends and I was still in love with her and I hadn't admitted it yet. We went there and they have a thing where you can pay extra money and they can like do whatever they want to you pretty much.
Which
you have
we
to
did
sign
not
something. Which
do.
I don't do that.
We did not.
We
do
didn't
that.
do that.
This guy over here. God bless
Like
it.
apparently they can be rough with you and do whatever the fuck they want.
Hey yo,
Well,
Derek.
I'm
we
not
did
into
not
that.
do that.
So like we were walking and I feel like Derek would pay that money, be like, "Talk to me, Daddy."
Yeah, yeah.
He'd make Antonio do it.
He'd have his belt off before they even took his money.
Once he hears this story, I guarantee he's gonna buy a ticket.
Yeah, he's going to do this.
And we were walking, and little known fact about me: when I go through haunted houses, like I just like to fuck with them. Like I like to have fun. I like to
He
have
brings
jokes.
the tension. He's the one who's cracking jokes the whole time.
I'm cracking
and
jokes the
setting
whole
mood.
time, dude. I have so much
Okay.
fun because it is fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not saying I'm not scared, but I like to do that. And it was like a church hellish kind of thing. And there was a woman that was standing there. She had like a giant piece of wood, and she's like, "Are you ready to enter the gates of hell?"
Me and
I was
Taylor are like,
and I was like. I was like, hell fucking yes, sister. I've been bad. And I was taken back. She took that thing and she hit me with it and she pushed me up against the wall and held me up. She goes, "You will feel the fate of God." I'm like,
Oh, good.
and then
damn, you need to calm down.
like she
Fucking
really
around.
hit the shit out of him, and then I was like, "Hey!" And then she came over to me and she did the same freaking thing.
And then we went to walk. She hit me on the ass. She goes, "Pray to God."
it was like
She hit me hard.
She
I'm
did
like,
hit
she hit me hard
hard.
like a man.
She
It
shoved-
hurt.
yeah, she shoved both of us up against the wall too, and like we ended up we don't try to be like negative Nancy's or like Debbie Downers, but we had to say something after we were done with
I
the
think
trail.
She was too aggressive.
Way
she-
too aggressive.
Yeah, no. How much for a friend? Asking for a friend. How much extra is it?
I don't know. I've never done
Yeah,
it.
I got a guy that I might
He
need
said
to
he
get
was
over
$100 to get
there.
beat off at 100.
Yeah, I got a guy.
I'm not mad at her because I think she thought we were part of that group.
Yeah.
You know, so
Or-
I didn't get really that mad at
Yeah.
her, but like if she does that to the wrong person,
Like
they're
damn.
fucked.
Well, have y'all seen like the ones? I can't remember what state it's in.
Yeah, Tennessee.
But, like, is it Tennessee? The
Tennessee.
one I know, there's one where they drive around that truck and you're on like farmland.
Oh no, never different.
and they chase you around in that. And then there's one I think is in Tennessee.
They torture you.
They torture you, and like they'll put you in cages.
Dude, they'll put spiders in your mouth. They'll pull your teeth.
Yeah.
Y'all for real?
You got to sign waivers. You got to sign
You gotta go
waivers.
through a mental evaluation before you can go
and
through.
there's a wait
Haunted
list.
houses, bro.
Nobody's
There's a
ever
wait
passed it.
list.
There's been, you know what the sad part was? I'm like, that's not even horror. That's like torture.
That's
It is torture, yeah.
It's
It's
not even
torture.
scary.
But
It's just
there's this
straight up
one girl,
torture.
and she passed out at like 8 hours in, and she's like
8
mad at
hours?
herself. She goes, damn it, I can make that 12 hours.
If you can make it through the whole time, you get like a cash prize.
$50,000.
Yeah.
Which isn't even that much anymore. Like
At work with all that.
I
What's
don't
the
know
name of
about that.
place,
That-
you know?
Derek.
For how long?
12 hours. You
12
have to make it 12 hours. But think about it. They can legally kill you.
Huh?
Yeah,
You
straight
gotta
up.
sign
Like, if you read the fine
You
print,
didn't say that.
But dude, straight up.
You didn't say that.
Dude, straight up, if you read the fine print, you sign over any legal action against them to do
Yeah.
anything. If you end up dying from whatever they do to you, it's on you.
It's not on them.
Like, it's on
That
you.
ain't worth $50,000.
It's not
Exactly.
even-
That's not even a
Yeah.
lot anymore.
I thought it was just like some weird bug in your mouth.
I
You
mean,
know,
they do
like
that.
in
I mean,
cages,
it-
torture.
Dude, they can pull
Dude,
your
this is
teeth
straight
and
up
pull your
torture.
hair.
I didn't know they could pull your
If
teeth.
you look online, I can't remember the name of the place, I forgot, but I looked on their website and I downloaded the waiver you have to sign. There is like over 100 things that could possibly happen to you. And one of them was pulling out actual teeth, just all kinds of phically harming things.
Oh, yeah.
Like who the hell? I mean,
I'm not doing all that. I
Hell
didn't
no.
realize that.
No.
Derek,
You're
any
changing my
takers?
whole
they're
my whole appearance.
$100.
Why did you say vigorous?
That's the only way. That's the only way you can go.
I want an optimistic hand job.
Now Derek likes when they talk shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
be like Scary Movie 2, talking dirty.
I'm gonna fart in your face. I'm gonna shit on
these
your mouth,
balls,
Ray.
Hey, too dirty. Yes. And if we have time, maybe like 60 seconds, if I could finish talking about, I want to just give a shout out about the Jeepers Creepers truck.
Yes.
Okay.
Go for that
so
one,
just thank you, yeah. Just real quick. I did want to put a quick disclaimer. We were talking earlier about cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to cancel out Jeepers Creepers because it came to light, I think, back in 2017 at least, that Victor Salva, the writer and director of the first 3 Creeper movies, or maybe it's the first 2, he's a convicted child molester. So obviously people think that if you like Jeepers Creepers and you buy things related to it, that you're supporting him. They want to cancel it out. So while I don't condone that at all, no, he's a sick bastard. Like there's a special place in hell for people like that. I can't fucking stand that, Don't condone that. But I love Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
And I think I can love Jeepers Creepers. It's something he created. I can love it, but not him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, with that being said, back to the Creepers truck at the horror con that I went to. The back of this sign is signed by Troy. It's pretty much like a congratulations for me and Taylor got married. He calls himself the Creeper cousin. But hit him up on Facebook, the Creepers truck. It's on Facebook, and he does a lot of cons. So if you ever want to get your chance to visit the truck yourself and actually go inside the truck, you can follow that page and get updated on when he goes to different cons.
That's crazy. That's
Quick shout out to Logan. Hi, I'm on here before you. Just wanted to say that.
So to answer your question about our podcast, we are called Weirdside Podcast. We're just starting out. So like I said, I feel like we're in a professional setting here. Like ours,
I feel like the Dollar Tree and you guys are Target.
we're
right.
like I don't even higher than Target. We're like the Dollar Tree. We're still recording on a USB mic, sharing it in the man cave of the house.
Yep.
Shit picks up everything. The dog's barking, the car is going by. I'm sure if one of us farted, it would pick up too. But
It's the grind, though. It's the grind.
Yeah.
It's what you gotta do.
it's true. But basically, on our podcast, we talk about just weird topics. We talk a lot about horror films. We're going to be talking about true crime cases.
That's what I like. True crime.
Yes.
I think our next episode is going to be on, if I might butcher it, Chichojima Island.
What did I say? I said Neutrogena.
You said Chichojima Island one
I
time.
said Neutrogena.
Chichojima Island in World War II, and I think we're going to do Snake Island next time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe we can touch up on the Coconut Crab Island too. Not sure what that one's called. But so next episode should be dropping next week. It will be due Erie Islands Part 1. But yeah, basically just a wide variety of topics. The central theme is just talking about things that people don't normally talk about in every day.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Weird
what
shit.
platform? What platforms are y'all gonna post on?
Currently, we are on the RSS.com. I have a YouTube channel. We recently got on Apple Podcasts.
That's
and
great. Yeah.
we are pending Spotify.
All right.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So, and Weirdside Podcast.
Oh God. Antonio, can you take us out? I don't know how to do it.
You said we're done.
All right,
done.
we out. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Steak and Sauce. What episode is this? Episode 26? I got it.
We already did it.
No, we're still going. Thanks for tuning in. Steak and Sauce Podcast, episode
27.
This is your captain, Big P, the landowner, boy. Sano.
AC, holla at your boy.
Thank you so much. I can't wait for that
Yeah.
rigorous hand job.